Whether you're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, every new influencer, every new person thinks just because they have the dope content, they've got the fucking key. They've discovered fire. They've invented the wheel, and there's more that goes into it than just turning on a camera and saying, "Hi, I'm on YouTube. Hi, I'm on Facebook. Hi, I'm on OnlyFans." It takes planning. It takes work. It takes strategy.
Yo, what's up, YouTube? My name is Chisha Zed. I am back in here with another Chisha Zed and Friends episode for you guys. I've got a new guest here with us today. She is a YouTuber. Could you please introduce yourself to the people and let them know a little bit of what your channel is about too?
Okay, yeah. So my name's Pearl, and my channel is basically me reacting to manosphere content. So I react to like a lot of Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit, and sometimes I just give like random videos of my opinions on random things and people watch it.
I've actually seen one of your videos as a I think that was the first time I saw it, was a recommendation, and I saw it and I was like, okay, cool. I didn't click on it, but then I saw another one and then I decided to check it out, right? How'd you get involved in like watching Kevin Samuels?
Well, I watched, like, someone asked me, because I actually started with like rap music reactions.
Okay.
This was like, I've had a lot of stuff on my channel. But I started with like rap music reactions, and somebody—
What type of rap? Like favorite rapper right now, let me know.
See, this is the problem. I don't like rap.
You don't like rap?
No.
Then why were you reacting to rap music?
Okay. So do you know Angry Reactions on TikTok?
Yes, I'm familiar with them. And
okay, so
I've seen his stuff before. Has he been on like the Shade Room?
I don't know if he's been on the Shade Room or not. He's been on a lot of stuff. He's been on like national TV and like—
I've seen him. I think he's been on the Shade Room. Do people like draw pictures of him? Like, is that some people draw? Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Who that's supposed to be?
I made the head and then made the eyeballs and yarn and stuff.
That's me!
I forgot about the eyeshadow. And then this is what he looks like.
Gorgeous!
Yay.
I love it!
Love it.
By the way, I didn't know this before this interview right now, so this is interesting.
Yeah, so I started dating him back in end of December. We started dating. So he's like really into like, he likes rap music and like hip hop, whatever. And I just like country music. So he thought it was like funny. Like one of the first videos that like he wanted me to react to, I can't remember the song, but he thought it was funny. I didn't know what like a steppa was.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
I still don't. I forgot what it meant. But so he just like thought it was funny, like watching me react to them. So he like was like, you should react to them on your YouTube channel.
Got you.
And so I just had a couple like blow up. And then from there, like people just gave me other videos to react to, and somebody sent me Kevin Samuels.
Were you like, your first impression, were you offended by, because that's what I get a lot of times, like when people go and listen to Kevin Samuels for the first time, women, they're like, oh, you know, I wasn't sure at first. What was your first impression?
So I grew up in a family like that, all these women like that are calling into their show and like saying like this is what they like. They want like a lot of kids. They want the ability to stay home if they want to. They want
the six-figure earner type.
Yeah.
The top 10% of men. So you grew up in a family of women who wanted that?
No, I grew up like my dad, like he's probably in the top like 0.5% of men.
Got you.
Earning.
This makes a lot of sense now. You're watching this stuff. You actually come from a home of somebody who's in that top 1% of men, and you're hearing what these women want, more specifically what they bring to the table and what they expect because of what they bring to the table. And was it like, oh my goodness, this is kind of crazy the way these women think?
Well, my first impression, I thought they were both crazy because I thought Kevin, like, he's like talking, and it's hard because the manosphere, like, when I say like my dad doesn't like go out, like he's never drank before. So he's not like the type of guy to like go out and have like a mistress on the side or whatever. So at first I thought that was crazy, but then the manosphere will just tell me that like I don't know about it. So I don't know, but. And
you're referring to the high value men have the option.
The high value men cheat. That was like, so that was my first impression of Kevin.
And by the way, when Kevin said that, I think he meant more option to cheat and not necessarily high value men cheat, period. Just to clarify.
Yeah, and I realized that like as I was watched more, but like that was why my first impression wasn't necessarily the best of him.
Gotcha.
Because that was like the first video. It's the most clickbaity, you know? But yeah, and I definitely thought the women were crazy too, because like my mom's a very hard worker, and that's like why my parents have been married for so long, is because they both like, in order to stay married, you have to be like a hard worker. And like these girls, like, they just want to do nothing.
Would you say like your dad was the leader of the family and kind of looked up to as a alpha?
Well, my dad, or like my mom did exactly what Kevin Samuel says to do. When she was 17, she met my dad, who, like, I don't think he was crazy earner back then, but like he's like crazy hard worker. So like she met my dad, moved to my dad, and then started working for his company.
So today is really about the fall of OnlyFans. Breaking news is that OnlyFans is wanting to expand, and part of the ways they realize that they're going to get investors to invest into their company is by moving away from adult content, right? Huge surprise to a lot of people, because that's kind of what OnlyFans is known for. I'm thinking like IG models are freaking out all over the place right now because, you know, they're losing out on like thousands and thousands of dollars. Women have gotten rich off this platform. Rollo Tomasi on the Fresh and Fit podcast was explaining about why these guys, right? Part of the 80% of the non-select guys, they're drawn to like OnlyFans content. And one of the things he said was, when these guys go looking for an OnlyFans model to connect with and to pay, they're not just doing it for the sake of like seeing them naked. What they're looking for are an emotional connection.
When I was here in March, it was one of the shows we were doing in March. One of the girls asked me, she said, what is it with guys and why do they get addicted to OnlyFans?
Yeah, she asked that question. I remember.
Yeah.
Because you gave a excellent answer to that. Why men are addicted to porn.
It's similar to what Elle's saying here, is that they're the 80% are guys, right? The beta males, the guys who have a real tough time. They're not the 20% that women want to bang. These are the guys who got to figure something out. And you're right. They fall in love with those girls over and over again. They'll find their favorite one. They'll spend a small fortune on that one until they get jilted. That's their like digital waifu, right? It's the girl for them. And they live out this fantasy of having some girl who actually gives a shit about them.
I thought that was so telling to why platforms like myself are important. Because a lot of people come on here and think like, why do you talk about game and how to like talk to women and, you know, understanding women, female nature. They don't see that a man who's brought up in this life isn't taught how to like talk to a girl and like get her number, isn't taught how to be confident and how to go from a date to getting laid, whatever your plan is, even if you want to find a wife. And platforms like mine are looked at as wrong, because the truth is, telling somebody how to get a girl is sort of like telling somebody how to catch a fish, right? Is that they see you like you're spreading, you know, the secrets and you're misogynist and everything. But overall, what did you think of that video from the Fresh Fit podcast?
I actually did not know you did that on your channel. I've only seen your reaction videos. But the Fresh and Fit, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like influencers. Like some of the biggest influencers aren't like the best looking or the most charismatic. Like they're people you can relate to. And it's kind of like with the OnlyFans girls, like they can probably relate to them in some way. Like I heard Trisha Paytas is one of the top paid, like when she was really into OnlyFans, she was one of the top paid models. Like,
is she the one that they were talking about? The like plain looking kind of?
No, you don't know who Trisha Paytas is?
No.
Oh, she's been on the internet forever.
Oh, okay.
She's like a troll.
Oh, okay. She's a troll, and now she's on Only. That's a weird thing that started happening too. It's like celebrities start to get into it, you know, and people who you wouldn't even think would open up an OnlyFans would get into it. You know?
It's enticing. Like, I mean, like, if you had a platform and you knew there was like a guaranteed $100,000 a month, like, there's a lot of people who would say yes. There's a lot of guys that would say yes to that if they had the chance, you know?
Shit, I might have to sacrifice $100,000 a month.
Yeah, like if
for
you already
feet
have
pictures.
A couple, what?
When I realized feet pictures were a real thing and people were paying thousands of dollars, I said, oh man, I can't be upset about that. Like if you're paying for feet pictures, geez, I wouldn't be I wouldn't look down on somebody who is selling fake pictures, and if they're a woman, in my own opinion.
Well, and it's hard because like a lot of girls when they're growing up, they see girls that like actually make like careers out of it. Like look at Kim Kardashian, she's a billionaire now.
I wonder if she's on OnlyFans.
She's not on OnlyFans, but she started her career with a sex tape.
That is true.
So she started her career like with sex and then like, you know, branched out of that. And I wouldn't say that's like the main thing she's known for anymore, but like that's like the example a lot of girls see is like, and Lana Rhoades, even her too, like now she's like a high paid influencer.
Do you think that OnlyFans model, right? Let's say you're a regular girl and you go on OnlyFans. Do you think like you lose respect from like the general public now, or do you think it's like more accepted?
I think it depends on your audience. Like obviously there's going to be like a group of women that like will scream like sex work like is real, you know, like there's that crowd. But like in general, I don't.
The sex work is real work crowd. Yeah, those guys are pretty active.
Yeah. But like overall, yeah, like I don't think I would probably respect someone more who just like built a business on their own than used like sex work to get there.
Me too. Even though it feels like it became common, just the fact that they have to take away the adult content in order to expand the company kind of is a tell sign of like, hey, most people are not cool with this. Investors, they don't want to invest in porn, softcore porn, whatever it is. And it isn't really accepted, right? As much as people like to make it seem like it really is.
Do you think it's common for like in your personal life? Because personally, I don't know a single girl that I actually know that does OnlyFans. I think there's like a lot of influencers that we all feel like we know that do OnlyFans, but I don't actually know anyone who does it. Do you?
I know some people.
Oh, really?
I've had a couple of guests who've told me they have OnlyFans.
Really? I've never met a girl who does.
I'm not going to out them though, because they're not real upfront about it. You know what I mean? Even when they come, I'm like, hey, this is the time to do it. Tell everybody about your OnlyFans. You know what I mean? But they're not real upfront about it. But yeah, I do know a few people that do OnlyFans. I don't know how well they're doing, you know?
That was going to be my question, if they actually like make real money on it. Because I've heard that a lot of like girls don't actually make that much money.
It can't be easy.
No.
It can't be easy. Here's the thing. It's like there's two things that are at work, right? If you really want to do really well, it seems like you have to already have like an established brand, right? People have to at least know who you are, number one, and then wonder like, okay, how does this person look like in lingerie? Like if somebody who you wouldn't think would make an OnlyFans made an OnlyFans, I think those people were killing it.
Oh, like what's her, like Bad Barbie.
Yes.
And,
you know what I mean?
What's that redhead that just made one? They said her name in the interview. I can't remember her name, though.
But yeah, you know, people who you wouldn't expect to have an OnlyFans, those people are killing it when they do open their OnlyFans. And you have like a following, you know? I think those people are the ones who are doing well. If you have like a few thousand followers on Instagram and only your creeps from high school are going to pay for it, you know, that's something different.
Yeah, I just like wonder how... Okay, because let's take like your morality out of the question, right? Like let's say you don't care, you think sex work is real work, you're just trying to get your bag and like have a career in the long term, right? I like wonder, because on one hand, some of these girls are making more money than some people make in a lifetime, right? But the question is like, are they really getting skills and are they really like being wise with their money so they can actually like fund themselves for a lifetime?
No.
You don't think so?
I do not think so. And the moment I realized this was when Kevin Samuels came onto the Fresh and Fit podcast with those like three OnlyFans girls.
Talking about.
Yeah.
I got Kevin fucking Samuels in the house.
Hi guys, how are we doing?
What's up, Kevin?
One thing that I heard from the ladies that I often heard when I spent a lot of time in corporate strip clubs with high-end escorts, porn stars, the new girls to the industry all thought they discovered fire because they were hot. I don't know why so many women think OnlyFans is this open fount of money. It's money. OnlyFans is at scale now, and we have no history on women going a decade of making money, same store sales year over year on this platform. So everything that I heard from you ladies is the most optimistic projections if nothing changes.
That shit was crazy, man. And he was asking him like, hey, so are you, because she was like, oh, I've got a money tree. You know, I've got a money tree. I don't have to worry about anything. And he like prophesied this.
Whether you're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, every new influencer, every new person thinks just because they have the dope content, they've got the fucking key. They've discovered fire. They've invented the wheel, and there's more that goes into it than just turning on a camera and saying, hi, I'm on YouTube. Hi, I'm on Facebook. Hi, I'm on OnlyFans. It takes planning. It takes work. It takes strategy. It takes business knowledge. It takes collaboration. It takes a lot of things that you obviously don't have. And that's why you're upset, because at the end of the day, you know you don't have them, and you don't have the patience, the intelligence, even the patience, the intelligence, even the resources to sit down and just listen. So carry your cell phone, and when OnlyFans stops, Subway will be hiring.
Oh my God, mic drop. Wow.
Well, didn't that one girl say she invested in a BBL? I'm like pretty sure she did.
Freaking hilarious, man. That whole freaking show, that episode was freaking crazy. He was trying so hard to be like, hey, just tell us what you invested in. She's like, I don't have to tell you shit. I don't have to tell you nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, man, if you have investments, there are no secrets at the end of the day. You could say you're invested in crypto or whatever. But yeah, I feel like those women, if they were smart, and I'm sure there's like a small, very small fraction of them who actually did invest. And right now they're thanking God they did, you know, but you should have invested.
Well, and what people don't understand is like, I did not realize how bad most of my female friends are with money, just like in general. Like I've been doing YouTube like and TikTok full time for like 8 months now. And like, I do okay, right, in terms of money, but like, it's nothing like crazy at all. But I've like found myself in situations where I'm lending like money to like friends that are like actually fully employed. And I haven't been for like 6+ months, but I don't spend money like that, so I'm cool. You know what I mean? And I'm like really good about like saving. I don't like I'm very frugal as a person. And I just didn't realize like how quickly like when people have money, they spend it like that.
Yeah, most people are terrible with money. I used to be fucking horrible with money at some point too. My God.
Really? What were you doing?
It's just I just didn't have a budget. Money's one of those things where it's going to leave you if you're not intentional. When I was younger, I would work a lot, 2 or 3 jobs, because you start working, you realize like shit, the more I work, the more money I get. I'm gonna work all the fucking time. I started working all the time and started, getting the most money I've ever gotten when you're like 18 or 19 or whatever. But eventually I thought to myself like, hey, every time I get paid, I spend it. And I actually had to sit down, go on YouTube. If you're bad with money, go look up how to start a budget, right? How to run it by yourself. It's very simple. You have your money coming in, right? You have your expenses, and then you have what's left over that can go into like your savings account, whatever. It's really, really simple. What's hard is following that budget a lot of the times. But yeah, a lot of people, even adults, can't sit down and like make a budget and follow it. Then there's people like you, I don't know if you have a budget or whatever. Then there's people who are just naturally good with money and they don't really need that.
No, I don't have a budget.
Yeah.
No, I literally just like don't buy things. I haven't bought, I have some clothes that are 5+ years old. I do not buy things.
Got you. Not materialistic.
No, I buy food, but that's it. That's like the only place I spend money.
So one point I wanted to make that Rollo Tomasi made in that interview when he was on Fresh and Fit is he said the top earning like 1% of people on OnlyFans were these women. He gave an example of a specific woman actually who made about like $150K a month. And the reason that he gave I thought was interesting. He talked about this idea of a woman who's attainable a lot of times for these guys.
I forget the girl's name, but the girl who is one of the top earners, like the top like 1% of OnlyFans earners right now is I don't remember her name, but
she's a very average looking girl.
Very like
Girl next door.
7.
Plain Jane, yeah.
Still sexual, still, looks good, but she's not like big tits, blonde hair, blue eyes, centerfold model. She's not like because she looks attainable.
Yeah.
She looks like somebody that guy could,
Bella Thorne, look at her.
Yeah.
Remember when girls miss be nasty?
Yeah, yeah. She's not like a porn star. She's just this average girl who might be living next door, and you go, yeah, in my perfect world, I could possibly get with
She's
that
a veteran.
girl. Yeah, and she's making $150,000 a month or something like that.
Sheesh.
On this shit. Yeah, I mean, she is a top-end earner, and she still does sexual stuff, but it's not just that. It's the fact that she has this attainability. Like they think they could get this girl, and what happens is then they fall in love with that girl. They start sending, tipping her, and I think one of these guys, it was in a Reddit forum or a Reddit thread one time. This guy was talking about the cycle that he goes through with these girls. He'll fall in love with his favorite girl. He'll spend something like $4,000 a month on this girl. Then somebody pays $5,000 a month. She pays attention to him and not him. And now he goes through this, depression and deletes her. And it's just like having a girlfriend that just broke up with you. Yep. Only you never banged her and you never met her in person.
I understand it, but it's also kind of sad, right? Because it points to why channels like this are important. Channels like myself and other channels out there that speak for men and kind of talk about how to approach women. And I may not do that directly, but if you watch my reaction videos, I will like leave nuggets of that throughout my reaction videos a lot of the time. We have a whole generation of men right now who have been kept from being real men. Their balls have been cut off. You're not allowed to speak your truth. And if you do, you're going to be called toxic. You're afraid to talk to girls because of cancel culture. You might get Me Too'd. Guys don't know where to turn. And that's when platforms like this, when they stumble on a platform like this, they're like, oh, wow, these guys are talking about how to get a girl's number. These guys are talking about how to keep a girl, masculine frame, right? Female characteristics that I should avoid. Good female characteristics that I should look forward to. Women who are feminine, agreeable, pleasant to be around. And it just shows the more need for channels like this and why I'm glad to see more channels like mine.
Yeah, actually reacting to the manosphere has given me like I've never thought about a lot of the problems that guys face. Like you never hear about like men's problems. It's always like, people of color, women, like that sort of thing. But I've never thought about like how hard it is dating as a man. Like I never thought about that ever. And I spoke to one of my guy friends the other day. I was like, when you go on dating apps, do you like not get matches?
Sure.
And he's sorry.
It doesn't happen as much as it does for women, but go ahead, I'm listening.
Yeah. And he was just telling me, he's like, yeah, if I like match with like 10 people, I might get 3 replies, maybe. And like I'm in a relationship now, but I like think back to like when I was on dating apps, like it's so easy to get replies like as a girl. It's, like, it's ridiculously easy.
I literally, back when I first started listening to like manosphere content, I first heard Alpha Male Strategies. He said, hey guys, go create a female dating profile and go see how many messages you get. I actually did that shit. I made this profile of this girl, right? She was African-American. She wasn't like, I'll give her like a 5. She was average. I made sure she was a little bit overweight, and I did that on purpose. I wanted to be as like normal as possible. You know what I mean? And then I went and I put it on there. Within like 2 days, I had 100 messages. 100 messages. This is one of those dating profiles where they could send you a message before you even matched, right? And I remember thinking to myself, like, wait, you're telling me an average, just kind of overweight looking woman could get all these matches on a dating app? Totally blew my mind, totally changed my perspective on dating. I do fairly well on dating apps. I've never really used them that much. But at the end of the day, when I say I do well, I mean, I get like a match here and there. It was never, I get on my app and there's like 100 messages from like 100 girls. That's fucking crazy, man. That's a totally different world. And women don't know that. You know? Not to mention, if you don't have a man telling you, bro, get in the gym, work on yourself, right? Go get a better job, fight, be competitive. If you're fat, like, and just not competitive in any way, not pursuing your dreams, you don't have a passion in your life, you don't have somebody to tell you, like, hey, as a man, you should be out here chasing your goals in some way, shape, or form, your chances of matching with anybody are slim to none.
Yeah, I think if you talk to most girls, like, one of the first things they look for, I would say, is like ambition or like work ethic or like something similar to that. So I feel like girls can definitely like sniff that out, you know, if you don't have that in you. Yeah, so I would definitely agree with that. But no, I didn't. Well, it kind of made sense, though, the reason why so many girls like hate men too. Because like when I learned about the 80-20 rule, I was like, oh, so it's like all these girls are getting played by the same guys. And so then they hate men because they think those are all the men. Like they don't even know they're overlooking 80% of men.
Oh, yeah. That will happen all the time. That will happen all the time. I'll have a guest come on my show, the No Cap show, and they'll say something like, guys are so emotionally detached and so rude and they cheat all the time. I'm like, no, that's a small percentage of guys. The guys that you go after are that way. And that's because they have options. But at the same time, women are attracted to those guys. So there's that like catch-22 in that, like, women are attracted to these guys who are emotionally closed off. Those are the 20%. They only deal with that 20%, right? And so they think that all men are like that 20%.
Well, and like I used to be one of those girls. Like I would say things like men are trash, like men are the worst. I wasn't like, see, I hate saying that because then people think I'm like the absolute crazy ones. But I definitely like said stuff like that before. But there just had to be a point where you realize like it's the men you choose to date. Nobody forces you to date those guys. It's your own fault. Like I don't want to like you know what I mean? Like if it happens once, that's one thing. But like if you're still like 25, 26 and still dating the same types of guys, like you kind of have to look in the mirror. Like it's
Amen.
I don't want to say it's your own fault.
Wow.
But
Accountability.
It's like
accountability. I love it.
Well, no, because like I mean, when I was younger, like I definitely like, you know what I mean? Like a guy like sweet talks you and you don't know any better. But if you're 25 and you're still doing the same thing you were doing when you're 18, like it's your own fault.
Very true. You know, there's something that 80% of guys who aren't getting girls can learn from that 20%. And it's not to be an asshole, because guys usually think like, oh, I just have to be mean to girls. That's not it. Value yourself, right? If you're a man who values yourself, you value your time, you found your purpose in life, you're working towards something, you don't put women on a pedestal, right? You aim to be the leader. You aim to be the alpha within your relationship. Doesn't matter how people look at you. People come on my channel all the time. They're like, look at this simp. They call me beta, whatever you want to call me. At the end of the day, the only thing I think about is, hey, how does my woman I'm dealing with view me, or my women, whatever situation you're in? And do the people who I'm working with respect me? Am I on my purpose? That right there makes you valuable to women, right? It's positive at the end of the day. And that's another thing is like people can easily misinterpret a lot of like the RP and manosphere content because they think it's just a bunch of negativity. It's positive, a lot of positivity, and a lot of men truly do aim to be the best versions of themselves.
Okay, I'll tell you one thing that I do think is very negative about the manosphere, okay?
Talk to me, yes.
So I think sometimes men will get mad at women for like acting a certain way, but in my opinion, it's like men that let girls act like the way they do. Like I kind of like I don't want to say it's kind of the guy's fault.
Could you give me an example of that?
Like okay, on Fresh and Fit, they always have all those girls on their show. And they always want to like go after their girls and say they're terrible, like, you know, bubble, like not very smart, whatever. Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of them act like children. I totally agree. But like, why do they act like that? It's because they've been hot since like a very young age. So guys like allow them to act like that, and they'll still date them.
That is facts.
So like it's kind of it's kind of guys' fault because I've seen girls like. I've been on sports teams since I was like very young, and I remember like this girl was like the nastiest girl on my team. Like nobody liked her. She was so mean, but like she was beautiful. So guys would just like be lined up to date this girl.
Oh yeah.
She wasn't nice. She wasn't kind. Like she was just hot. And so it like would get worse over time because she kept getting that attention. You know what she's doing today? She's dating an NFL player. Like I swear.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Like,
that makes sense. No, and honestly, I just made a video about this girl who broke up with her man, right? They're no longer together. And then she says, oh yeah, but I still want him to maintain my lifestyle, pay for my apartment, pay for my car, because I feel like I deserve it. Right there, who made that monster, right, of entitlement? It's men.
yeah.
You're right. I say it in that video. Simps. You men out here who treat women like they're God's gift to earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
You put them on this pedestal where you value them more than you value your self-respect. You create these women out here who you're wondering, like, why is she like that? Why does she give me a nasty look? And when I go up just to say hi, men create this. These are you guys who are out here paying $1,000 for feet pictures. Do you, but that stuff has consequences, right? You're out here not setting the standard high, right? You just want a pretty face. You don't want her to respect you. You don't want her to be a good person and be pleasant, be feminine. You just want a pretty face and a fat ass. You're the problem a lot of the times. Men are responsible for allowing that to happen. I think men from this space actually make women better. For example, there's been plenty of times when I've dated a girl, right? And I'm getting to know her and she does something, like yells. We're having a discussion, maybe it turns into like a disagreement, and then she like yells. And I say, hey, I don't do that yelling stuff. Don't yell at me again. I've never yelled at you. Have you ever heard me yell at you? They say, no, I have never heard you yell at me. Yeah, so don't yell at me. I'll never yell at you. So don't talk to me like that. And then they'll sit there and I'll notice that like, you did this because you probably did this in your last relationship. And the last guy you used to talk to allowed this to happen. You know what I mean? And right then a girl finally runs into a guy who's got some balls and is like, no, that's not going to be tolerated. And she's like, oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess that changes her perspective. Go ahead.
I bet she found that attractive too. Like, I think in general, like people that like are very direct about what they allow and don't allow, or like, I think like that's a very attractive quality. I actually would argue though, it's kind of the same thing with like guys, you know what I mean? Like with a lot of like, I would say like douchey guys out there are like allowed to act like that because like women will still get with them, you know?
You're saying women allow that for men?
Like, you know, guys that like constantly like cheat on their girlfriends or like stuff like that.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying like pretty people get away with things. So it's like, while I'm going to sit here and say like a lot of like women act this way because like men allow them to, like it's the same thing with guys.
Yeah. There's a phrase that goes, women make rules for betas and break rules for alphas, right? As in, she'll set these rules for these guys who she kind of views as like, you're below me, so yeah, I'm not gonna do this for you or whatever. At the end of the day, there are those guys out there that, you know, do like the whole, I'm gonna cheat on their girls and like treat their girl like crap. And hey, you run into one or two of those guys as a girl, I understand. Guys run into those women too. You don't learn from that, get pregnant, now you're a single mom, now it's your fault. At the end of the day, right?
Yeah. And there's so many forms of birth control. Like, if you get pregnant, it's your own fault. Like,
oh hell yeah.
There's birth control. There's Plan B. Like if you get pregnant, that you're being irresponsible. Like, there's no reason you should get pregnant. Do you think there are consequences to like women having OnlyFans and like engaging in like slutty behavior in the long run?
Yes.
You think so?
I think it's a short run too.
Okay.
I think most men that hear that you have an OnlyFans, if a girl said, hey, I have an OnlyFans and whatever, you go down in respect for a lot of men, the majority of men. You know, sure, we're in a society that understands that some women do that, but that's consequence number one, like on a micro level, right? on a bigger picture, I think there's some mental stuff going on there when you're valuing using your body, you know, as a form of payment or a survival tool. You know what I mean? And just exposing yourselves to hundreds of thousands of people. I don't judge women that do this. Get your money. At the same time, I believe there are consequences to those things.
You probably wouldn't date one though.
Nah.
Yeah. So like.
No. I wouldn't seriously date one. I feel like in the long run, are you going to find a husband? Good luck. I don't think so.
I don't know. A lot of them do though. I was thinking about this the other day. Like 80% of guys like aren't dating anyone. So it's like, you don't think one of them will be like, okay, I'll date a girl with an OnlyFans and marry a girl with an OnlyFans?
I think some people out there would do it, you know? But what are the chances that the majority of them will find one? It's not going to happen for the majority of them. And if they do find one, it's going to be really short-lived. Here's the problem with OnlyFans. It's an introduction to like real sex work, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you get a guy on there that says, hey, I'll give you $1,000 for a picture of your toe. And you're like, oh, shit, okay, I'll do it. And then what if he says, I'll give you $50,000 to fly over here and do whatever I want with you?
Yeah.
And then you're there pondering it for a few days. You're like, fuck it. I'm only going to do it this once. And you go do it. And then he tells his other rich friends, now you're getting flown left and right all over you know what I mean? I just think if I hear a woman is doing OnlyFans and she's pretty successful, I naturally assume that it's gone a lot farther than she's probably expected it to. Huh.
I actually never thought about that. I never thought, if they're doing that, they're probably doing sex work too.
I just can't see it stopping it. Like, if you really like that girl, I can't see a guy who has millions of dollars and has like 10 grand to throw away to some girl who that's, you know, she doesn't even make that in 3 months. He says, I'll give you 10 grand, you know, and you come over here and do whatever. I'm sure that happens more often than we probably know.
Right. Well, and there's like a digital footprint too. So it's not like they can say that never happened, you know?
That's true. That digital footprint thing is real, man. Yeah. Stays on the internet, never going away.
Your kids can see it. Like, that's what you could be remembered for, which is kind of sad.
Very, very true. Shit, think about that. Like, your mom's OnlyFans just you know, torturous to put your kids through that. That's fucking crazy, man. Pearl, appreciate you so much for joining me on this episode of Chisha Zed and Friends. Hey guys, if you guys enjoyed this episode, do me a favor, hit that like button for me, man, down below. Also, let us know what you guys thought of the conversation. Also, if this is like your first time watching my content, consider subscribing. If this is like your third or fourth or fifth time, this is the time to subscribe. I've got more good content coming for you guys. Again, Pearl, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.